Hello, this is Gradye Parsons, Stated Clerk of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church, USA. This is the first of a weekly podcast where I will share with you some things that I think that are important for the whole church and some trends I think that are important for the church to be in dialogue about. Today what I want to talk to you about is something I think is going on in many of our congregations at this time of year, and that is the whole process of nominating elders for the new class that will begin the first of the year. I know many nominating committees are hard at work studying and discerning who they should ask to be elders, and I just want to add some things to that conversation because the role of elders in our church is a passion for me, and I think it should be a passion for you as we try to recover this important aspect of our uniqueness as Presbyterians. Now, most Presbyterians, when they are nominating committees, when they start talking about elders, will look to the part that describes the duties of the session. But really where you should start is in the Book of Order, chapter 6, section 304. That describes what it is an elder is to do in a form very different from a management or administrative type of form. You'll find no language about making budgets match or taking care of leaky roofs or taking care of errant youth groups. You'll find language about what is the qualities and characters of the service of an elder. Now, the very first sentence in that section is very important. It says, "It is the duty of elders individually and jointly to strengthen and nurture the faith and life of the congregation committed to their charge." And the key word there is individually. Many of us have a sense that most of the role of an elder involves going to a session meeting, sitting in a session room, sitting around a table or around a church parlor, discussing various aspects of church life. But this very first sentence in this section reminds us that the very first part of the role of an elder is to individually have a ministry supporting and nurturing the people of the congregation as they seek to grow in faith. Individually, as individual elders, witnessing to who they are. One of the great things about church is that people in church are all different places at the same time. You have some folks who are just a couple of good deeds away from sainthood. You have some other folks who are still freshly wet from baptism, and all of us that are in between. So there's always somebody kind of up ahead to look at and say, you know, I'd like to be a person of faith like they are. When you take on the role of elder, you're taking on that role of modeling and witnessing to what it means to be a person of faith. There are people in the congregation looking up to you as they try to understand what does it mean to believe in God and have a job and take care of a family and do all the things that are necessary to live in this life. So I want to encourage you as you begin to go through this time of discernment nominating committees and go through this time of discernment, those of you who are being asked to be elders, to really look at this section, chapter 6, section 304, as to the characteristics of the ministry of elders. It's a very important chapter. It's important to understand this unique function of elders that's unique to the Presbyterian Church. Nobody else has this but us. And to look at that very carefully as you seek to discern, is God calling you to be an elder? I also want to lift up a resource to you. It's called Starting New Initiatives, a Discernment Process. It's done by our church transformation people. You can find it through the General Assembly Mission Council, the Office of Church Growth. It has in it a year-long process for a session to use as it seeks to transform itself from maybe a board of directors type of session to a real session of spiritual discernment, seeking to find what God's will is for the church and for the future of your particular congregation. So folks, it's elder picking time, and I encourage you to pick the best elders possible and for the elders to hear the call from their church to serve their church and to be the spiritual leaders God is calling them to be. Thank you.